Hello and welcome back to the TomFM channel. Hope you're all doing well today and looking forward to something a little bit different. Football Manager 2012. Now, whilst we've been in quarantine, I've been trying to sort things out in my room and my possessions and just trying to get rid of some old stuff that I just don't need anymore. And I had this laptop in my room lying around for years and I thought, okay, let's get the hard drive out of it, get all the stuff like old photos, old documents, old save files from games and just see what we've got on there. And what was on there was my favourite ever save file in any Football Manager game ever. It's this one that I'm going to show you today and sort of share it with you. I also stream every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 PM playing Football Manager. So today is Thursday. Come and join me at the stream at 7 PM UK time. The other night we were discussing our favourite old save files. And I think people there said they wanted to see this old save file. So I thought, let's dig it out and get it on camera and show you it. So the home screen is a bit of a throwback. You've got the old Football Manager logo in red. You've got the manager man as well with his nice red tie. But also, I forgot this even existed. There's a tutorial in FM12. Now, there is sort of tutorial things in the newer FM games, but for 16, 17, 18, and at that point they didn't have tutorials, but they had a fully fledged tutorial in FM12, which is really interesting. Anyway, we're not sort of here for that tutorial, we're here for the save file, so I'm going to click load game and jump straight into it. Of course, if you like this, do drop a like on the video for me and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, I'd massively appreciate that. Right, in-game, and it looks completely different to how Football Manager looks nowadays. Everything is in a really light skin, like a white skin with some dark text on it, which is a bit bright, but I suppose you got used to it back in the day. First things first, the date. We are currently in 2028, the start of the 2028-29 season, which back in FM12 days was almost a good 20 years into the future, so we got quite far in this save back in the day. Now, of course, I am the manager of Lincoln City. Who else would be manager of? I don't really know. So Lincoln City, I was the manager of, and we pretty much made them the best team in the world, I've got to say. Now, if we go to World up there, go to Overview World and click on Major Clubs, View All Clubs, as you can see right there, number one right in the world, Lincoln City, just above Man United, Man City, Arsenal, Tottenham and Birmingham, which is a bit bizarre. This is actually filtered for British clubs. That makes a bit more sense. If we go to Show All Nations, and it might take a little bit of time to load, but even when we have every single country up there, we are number one ahead of Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Man United, AC Milan, Inter Milan, Man City. The list goes on and on and on, but Lincoln City are the best team in the world. Just to emphasise that, you can see that when we started this in the 2011-2012 season, this was the first season after Lincoln City got relegated from League 2 to the Vanarama National League in real life, which was terrible, but I took them straight back up. In the first season, took them straight up, then won the League 2, then got promoted from League 1. Looks like we went through playoffs there, as well as playoffs in the Championship. So back-to-back promotions, or back-to-back promotions there, straight into the Premier League. We took a little time to stabilise before winning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Premier League titles. You can also see we play in the Lincoln Stadium, which is almost 50,000 seat capacity, which is quite nice. As well as 7 Premier League titles, we've also won 7 Champions Leagues, 1 Europa League, 5 Club World Championships, 5 European Super Cups, and we've also won the FA Cup 4 times, the League Cup 7 times, the Community Shield 5 times, and then some other lower league as well a couple of times. Just that's general history for Lincoln City at least. So as you can see, I did pretty well on this. We've got a few affiliate clubs. I forgot about this. Kidderminster Harriers, we had them as our affiliate club, and every time we bought like a wonder kid, I'd send them on loan to Kidderminster, to the point where Kidderminster themselves are a top-level championship club. I remember them getting so close to promotion several times, losing the playoffs a couple of times, but I remember Kidderminster trying to get them up to the top, trying to like inadvertently manage them with all my youth players, send them to Kidderminster on loan as the affiliate club to get them back promoted. That was the goal. It was so fun, that. As you can see, I am a legend at the club alongside Grant Brown from real life. I'm not quite sure where Keith Alexander is. Oh, Keith Alexander's under an icon there, so is Graham Taylor. But Grant Brown is a legend. Also, some other legends include Dan Foster. Now, he's the first player that I want to show to you. He's 32 years old. He is a striker, currently playing for us, still Lincoln City. But there was a tumultuous past with Dan Foster. So we signed him when we were in League 1 from Bangor City. And it was a good deal, £60,000. We bought him from Bangor City, and he just scored goal after goal after goal. 25 goals in the Championship, 16 goals in our first Premier League season. Actually declined a little bit after that, but he was always like my favourite player because he sort of took us up through some of these leagues. He was actually Welsh when he started off, but because I became England manager, I think I was England manager twice, 2 separate occasions, and I think one time I gave him his England debut, so he had to become English rather than Welsh, so that was that. But they got to a point where he just wasn't good enough for Lincoln anymore. So we sold him to Bolton for £2.5 million. But then I just felt really bad about selling him. And then one of my friends, who I like told about this save constantly, he was like, yeah, you shouldn't have sold Dan Foster. So I bought him back the next season for £5 million just to have him back at the club once again, because he was my bro. He was my bro, Dan Foster. Also, another legend at the club, Angel Gill. He was the first major big spending that I made as Lincoln City manager. The first season in the Premier League, I spent £12.25 million bringing him into the club from Real Madrid. And as you can see from the average ratings, the first couple seasons weren't so brilliant, but after that, he was absolutely insane. This particular season here, 23-24 season, 22 assists and 10 goals was phenomenal, to the point where he is one of the best players in the world. I think he's come third in World Player of the Year 3 times. Never won it, but come very close to it a couple of occasions. But things like free kick taking of 20, first touch 17, flair of 19, work rate 17, actual fitness 19. He is absolutely incredible. Constantine Kraft is no longer at the club. He's now at Inter Milan. He got a little bit old, so we've sold him for some money, but he was a very, very good centre-back for us. Really top quality. Sold him for £10 million to Inter. We bought him from SK Rapid Wien for £3 million. But as you can see, average ratings for him were extremely high. And once he's even scoring 11 goals, so was very prolific in scoring goals from headers. But as he got a bit older, not quite so good as we brought better players in. And the final legend is, I think this is maybe one of my favourite players ever on Football Manager, Younes Yildirim. Now, he has won the World Player of the Year, the Ballon d'Or, a couple of times. Maybe just the once, actually, but he's definitely won it at one point. And again, like things like 20 finishing, 20 composure, 19 off the ball. Like, he is so, so good. What a player. And look at his history. Now, one season he got 36 league goals in 37 appearances with 18 assists. That's mental. But that entire season, he scored 51 goals in 56 appearances, which is crazy. He got 53 and 53 one season. He scored 23 and 45. That's not so impressive. But these two particular seasons, the 53 and 53 and 51 and 56, that was absolutely incredible. But going one better than him is Dennis Arvidsson, who's only an icon at the club. Now, this guy, I feel, he was criminally underrated. He was always my favourite player, but Younes got all the plaudits. He got World Player of the Year. He got legend status at the club. Dennis Arvidsson is another Swiss striker who I think got runner-up in Ballon d'Or a couple of times, but never won it. But did get 73 goals and 62 appearances for Switzerland. And if we look at his history, okay, he joined us from Heerenveen there for £3.5 million. In his first season, 29 goals and 39 appearances. Season after that, 52 goals and 56 appearances. Season after that, 37 goals in 29 league appearances, but also he got 68 goals in 53 league appearances. How he didn't win the Ballon d'Or that year, I do not know. Season after that, 68 goals in 62 appearances. I mean, he was just absolutely insane, Dennis. And I think the only reason he's not a legend is because he's not been at the club as long as Younes and stuff. I don't know, but personally, for me, Dennis is the best player I've ever had on Football Manager. 20 finishing, 20 composure, 20 balance, 20 agility, 17 strength, 20 off the ball, 18 technique, 16 work rate. I mean, it's just amazing. Every time you look at it, he is amazing. And 31 years old, mind. 31 years old. Still got acceleration 18, pace 16. His physicals are still so good. So we had some pretty impressive players, like really top quality ones. If we look at the overall best 11 of the club, the starting 11, they're all pretty much regens. Apart from Douglas Costa. Douglas Costa was a real player. He was fantastic for us. The stats don't really do him justice, but he was very, very good for us, Douglas Costa. But if we look at the bench, there are some players that you might recognise. But Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, he made 204 appearances for us with 47 goals with a 7.10 average rating. But also in the lower leagues, Tomer Hamed was an absolute beast for us at some point. He's now a coach apparently, but he was absolutely fantastic for us in the lower leagues. So Tomer Hamed, always got a soft spot for him. I suppose what's going to be more interesting for you guys now that I've sort of got over my little bit of nostalgia looking at that kind of stuff. You can see English Premier League, which teams are in it, and this is a very different sort of world. Obviously, we started in a different world, 2012, and it's just developed differently. So we've got like Birmingham are one of the best teams in the Premier League. They are absolutely phenomenal in this save file. If we look at their view club, history. They've been in the Premier League for a long time, and they've been like a top 4, top 5 sort of club for a long, long time. So they are a very, very good club. And I think they just won the Europa League as well. So they were doing very well for themselves, Birmingham City. Bolton, always been in the Premier League. They've been there since the very start as well. Huddersfield are up there. Middlesbrough, QPR are still there. Sheffield United even got up there in this game, so that's quite good for them as well. West Ham weren't a Premier League side, but they are in this game now. Wigan in there still. They've always managed to stay up there. I don't think they ever got relegated, Wigan, if I remember rightly. They got relegated once, but always been a Premier League side, Wigan Athletic. So the Premier League I thought was always pretty cool, but it's when we get to the lower leagues, that's where things changed massively. In the Championship, you've got teams like Colchester, Coventry, Kidderminster Harriers, for example. York City are up there as well, Swindon. Teams like West Brom and Wolves, they're languishing down in the Championship. I think Wolves never really got back into the Premier League on this. Oh, actually, they were up and down a little bit, to be fair. But they never established themselves as a Premier League side, I should say. Crystal Palace are a staple side in this division. Luton are also there, but they're in real life as well. So the Championship, with teams like Kidderminster, I suppose, are a bit different. And York as well, obviously, both these sides. Panorama National North side. Kidderminster might be a bit lower, actually, in real life now. I'm not entirely sure. League One, Alfreton up there. Alfreton, what a team they are, apparently. Blackburn all the way down in the League One as well. Bournemouth in League One, as are teams like Exeter, Fleetwood, Norwich. Portsmouth there in real life actually aren't there as well. Sunderland, still a League One club as well, which is pretty mental. Although in FM12 they do start off in the Premier League, so not so good for them. Watford also in League One too. Southport as well. Scunthorpe. It's all different. League Two, you've got teams like Barrow, Boreham Wood, Dagenham and Redbridge, Dorchester, Dover, Gateshead, Halifax, Nuneaton. Preston have dropped all the way down to League Two as well. Stockport are up there, Tamworth are up there, Wrexham are up there. So League Two has changed massively. The Blue Square Bet Premier, or it's now called the Panorama National League, teams that have dropped down include Hartlepool, they've dropped down, Morecambe have, Newport County have dropped down, and Tranmere and Walsall have dropped down as well. But then you've also got teams coming upwards a little bit as well. So teams like Salisbury, Staines, Stalybridge Celtic, Sutton United, Havant and Waterlooville, Chelmsford, for example. In this version of the game, they're not even in the Panorama National League South. I think they're way below that as well. So Chelmsford didn't really want to come all the way up. Blue Square Bet North, you've got teams that have dropped down like Bradford. They've dropped down an awful long way, as have teams like Doncaster and Macclesfield and Mansfield and Northampton, all dropping down, as have Cambridge as well. Really not very good for some of these teams that have dropped all the way down. But a lot of teams also coming up, teams like Gainsborough and teams like Ashton United. And in the south, I think it's only, where are they? Millwall that have dropped down massively. I think Millwall's the biggest drop that we get to see, like Championship all the way down to Blue Square Bet North. Not a great time if you're a Millwall fan or a Yeovil fan. Yeovil are down there as well, which isn't great to see as an older shot, but plenty of teams in there. In terms of Champions League winners, you can see Lincoln have won 7 of them, which is fantastic. But also teams like Man City, Man United and Barcelona getting wins in there too. CSKA Moscow got to the final in 2018, apparently. That's what Football Manager predicted. That's a bit of an ambitious prediction. And the Milan clubs as well also getting to the finals in separate years in 2020 and 2021. Something tells us that's not going to happen in real life either, unfortunately. The Europa League is quite different. This one has changed massively. So going from 2012 onwards, Tottenham won it, Man United, Dortmund, Chelsea, Galatasaray, St Etienne in 2017, Dortmund, Juventus, then Lincoln City, Wigan win it in 2021, Porto, Fiorentina, Roma and Birmingham have won it twice alongside Newcastle and Barcelona. But other teams in the final, we lost it one year, which was very disappointing, but Moscow have been there as well, Dynamo Kiev, Fiorentina have been there Fiorentina have been there loads, but just seem to lose it in the finals. Rangers and Spartak Moscow also there, so the Europa League is always really exciting to see who gets to the final. And as for European Super Cups, well, we've won quite a few of them, as have Barcelona and St Etienne winning it one year as well, things like that, but that's pretty interesting too. As for World Cup winners, Argentina have won it twice, England once and France once as well, but England also came runners-up one year, which is pretty interesting. Also, Football Manager did a pretty good job of guessing who was going to host the 2026 World Cup. In real life, it's Mexico, USA and Canada. They had Mexico in 2026, so that's quite exciting. Well, it's not exciting at all. It's just a bit of a weird coincidence, isn't it? And finally, I think it's probably a good idea to go through World Player of the Year as well. So 2012, Ronaldo won it, and then Messi won it in 2013. And then 2014, they have Sergio Aguero winning it, which is pretty interesting, with Hazard and Sanchez in second and third. 2015, Hazard wins it with Schneider and Juan Mata in second and third. 2016, Ronaldo wins it again with Di Maria and Aguero in second and third. 2017, Eden Hazard wins it with Sanchez and Jack Wilshere in third place. And then, this is the weirdest one, 2018, Adam Johnson. Yep. Adam Johnson wins it in 2018. It's not the best look. I think the less said about 2018, the better. And then Lionel Messi goes and wins it 3 years in a row with Hazard, Sanchez in a regen, and then 2 regions. And Neymar coming in third place that year. And then I think we get on to, actually no, Adam Campbell's a real player there. Who did he play for in reality in 2012? Man United apparently then went in game to Oldham. I'm not sure if Adam Campbell's still a real player or not, but he goes on to become best player in the world in my old FM20 save. With Jack Wilshere coming second. Jack Wilshere seems to be at the top of his game constantly. And Gini Wijnaldum also coming in third place there. Not quite sure you'd expect that, I don't know. And then we have absolute dominance from Lincoln City. Younes Yildirim, a player, Abel Hernandez, who played for Real Madrid at this point. In reality, he played for Palermo. Interesting stuff there. And then we had Angel Gill, that winger that I spoke to you about earlier on. He came third. 2024, though, was special. Lincoln City. You love to see it. All 3 Lincoln City players there, first, second, and third. And then the 3 years after that, there's Rafael Hoyos guy, who I tried to sign constantly, but would never join me, which was rather frustrating. Goes on to win it 3 years in a row. Dennis Alverton in third place there. No Lincoln City players in 2026 and 2027. Dennis Arvidsson and Federico Luco Vazquez, who was the 3rd striker we had at the club. Mental that we had so many good strikers at the club, 3 of them at the same time. We didn't even use 3 strikers. We had to keep rotating them all, but they still managed to get themselves right up there. But Federico was the future of the club. The young 26-year-old was very good as well. So yeah, that was my FM12 save, and I thought that was worth showing you because I absolutely loved this save, and it was nice for me to sort of look back through it and bring back some old memories. But let me know in the comment section, what are your favourite saves ever in Football Manager from any Football Manager game, and why were they so important to you? That's what I want to know. In the meantime, I am streaming this evening from 7 PM UK time for a couple of hours, so come join me over at twitch.tv/TomFM, links in the description. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Goodbye.